Mortal Kombat is a franchise that is known for not shying away from violence and gore. It's even caused multiple controversies over the years because of it. So naturally, a series filled with gruesome and bloodthirsty characters would lend itself as great inspiration for a scary story or two. So today we're counting down a handful of those with our list of scariest Mortal Kombat Creepy Pastas. Let's jump right in. Starting us off, the demonic-possessed Mortal Kombat cartridge. This story follows a boy named Jake who played the second Mortal Kombat game on the Super NES for the first time. Now, having played other games in the series before, and having played MK2 on an emulator, he was excited to see what the console game was like, and purchased it online for a sweet $15. It was a red SNES, which is something that he had never seen before. But after doing some research, had found out that there had never actually been a red version of the console released in the US, or anywhere else internationally. Thinking he was an idiot for buying a fake console, he found himself pleasantly surprised when the package arrived at his house a few days later. A mailman had showed up at his door wearing a dark red uniform with a very strange look in his eye. Something was unsettling about this guy. He handed the package to the gamer who signed for it and then oddly lingered for a few seconds in silence before departing. Something didn't feel right. The gamer ignored it though and went inside and ripped open the box. This fake red Super Nintendo was actually pretty cool, so screw it, he thought. He plugged it into his TV and decided to give it a go. He started the game playing as his favorite Sub-Zero. Match after match after match was more grueling than he had ever remembered. He had played for what felt like hours when he started to realize a faint screeching noise was coming out of his television. The matches got even more difficult, more brutal, and even more gory, and he continued to feel like he was being hypnotized. How could this be? Perhaps his cartridge was a fake too, and all of a sudden a bright light blinded him, and he fell backwards onto the floor. He couldn't move. From the corner of his vision he saw the box that the console was sent in. A letter had now appeared. He crawled over with all of his strength across the room to pick it up and read it. It read, "I am sorry I ruined your life. The game console and MK2 could kill you. It killed my older brother Joe. Play at your own risk." The gamer, still feeling incapacitated, crawled across the room again and yanked the power cord out of the Super Nintendo. The console returned to its regular color. Confused by the experience, he set it on fire out in his backyard and hasn't played a Mortal Kombat game since. Up next is Mortal Kombat.exe. This creepypasta is about a gamer who one day was surfing the web for emulators when they found a game called Mortal Kombat EXE. The game took up 2 GB of memory, something that our protagonist thought was promising, since they had never played a Mortal Kombat game before that took up that much space. So it had to be great, right? Anyway, the game took over 4 hours to download, and when it finished was when things started to get a little weird. When the gamer hit the run button, their laptop burst into static noise and went entirely black. After a few tries, they managed to turn their laptop back on. Thinking their computer just crashed because of the download, they opened up the game and tried it out. No music played as it opened. Only a game mode selection appeared: arcade versus practice options and exit. So they clicked on arcade. That's when the music appeared, the typical Mortal Kombat theme, blasting through their speakers. Since it was a tad overbearing, they hit the mute button. A total of 276 characters were available to play, containing multiple versions of every single fighter that had ever appeared in a Mortal Kombat game before. The gamer chose the Mortal Kombat Trilogy version of Chameleon. Then it got even better. There was 500 stages to choose from. The player went with her favorite, the Mortal Kombat 1 pit. That's when the weirdest thing happened. Shao Kahn's voice came out of their computer saying, "Good choice." How was that possible when they had muted it? Thinking their laptop was simply struggling with the game, they continued and ended up fighting Hydro. Towards the end of the match, after being quite successful, Shao Kahn's voice echoed through the computer again with "Finish him." But that wasn't the strange part. What was that there was a list of names that came up on their screen, all friends of the gamers. Thinking that this was some weird meta feature of the games that somehow went into their computer, they selected one of them, a pal named Jordan. Then another text prompt appeared with a choice of fatalities, with a list of numbers to choose from but no explanation next to them, along with an option that read stage fatality. So of course our protagonist chose the stage fatality. Chameleon completely obliterated Hydro, causing him to drop into the stage's pit, with spikes impaling him. Chameleon wins, fatality. Then all of a sudden, loud pops burst through the computer's speakers and the game shut down, returning to the computer's desktop. An error that appeared that read, "Mortal Kombat.exe is not responding." Frustrated, our protagonists shut off their computer for the night, giving up. The next day at school, they looked for their pal Jordan to tell them about what had happened, and crack a joke that they had selected his name. But Jordan never showed up. Our protagonist would later find out that Jordan's mother found him in his room the previous night, with massive holes scattered throughout his body as if he had been impaled multiple times. And finally, our last creepypasta, Mortal Kombat 2: The Haunted. This creepypasta tells the tale of a gamer who had skipped out on class one day and found himself at a flea market, where he thought he had hit the jackpot. A very old Super Nintendo was up for grabs. Now it was missing the reset button, but it had 2 controllers and Mortal Kombat 2. Mortal Kombat 2 was his favorite game growing up and he couldn't wait to give it another go. When he went to buy it, the woman at the flea market said he could just have it for free. Others had purchased it before, and when they tried to take the Mortal Kombat cartridge out, they realized it was stuck. So they just returned the system. Now our protagonist gave the cartridge a tug. It was true. It was stuck in there real good. But he shrugged it off. MK2 was the game that he really wanted to play anyway, so he took the Super Nintendo home with him. Upon returning home, he plugged the SNES in and turned it on. Strangely enough, only a black screen appeared and a faint hum emitted from the system. That's when his phone rang. An unknown number. He answered it. There was only silence on the other end. The gamer hung up and returned his attention back to the system. The game's music then poured out of his television speakers. It went straight to the menu, skipping over the familiar dev logos that he had seen time and time again in the past when previously playing. Thinking nothing of it, he decided he would set the game to the highest difficulty to see if he still had all of his old skills. When he was skimming through the difficulty levels, he found one that was higher than very hard, a level called realistic. He had never heard of this before, so he selected it and the game cut to black for about 30 seconds before text in Japanese appeared on his screen that he couldn't read. Flickers of images also scattered across the screen, all of mutated bodies and individuals who had no eyes with fear-stricken faces. The character select then popped up. The gamer chose his favorite, Sub-Zero, seeing a theme here, and upon selecting him, a blood-curdling scream echoed out of his speakers. Each character he fought died within one round, rather than carrying on to the best 2 out of 3. Every time you defeated someone and a new fighter showed up, the previous fighter's body would remain on the ground. Eventually, after a handful of matches, the gamer had accumulated a collection of corpses. Sub-Zero was starting to look tired. After a particularly difficult fight with Reptile and an almost near loss with Shao Kahn, Sub-Zero looked as if he were about to collapse. As each match went on, the sky would turn redder and spikes appeared in the background, with the heads of his previous foes impaled upon them. Then, out of nowhere, a child appeared on the screen. His eye sockets empty except for the blood that trickled out of them. More text appeared in Japanese that the gamer could not read. Then, out of nowhere, the child pulled out a knife, got close to Sub-Zero, and slit open his arms. As if the gamer was spiritually tied to Sub-Zero, he felt an immense amount of pain in his own arms, dropping his controller to the floor. He managed to gather enough control to smash the Super Nintendo to pieces just as the pale child leapt into the air with his knife towards Sub-Zero. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which of these creepypastas freaked you out the most? And are there other Mortal Kombat scary stories or urban legends that you think should have made the list? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for more gaming creepypasta lists just like this one. Thanks for tuning in, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.